Will, make a video on daily bias. How do you find the daily bias? Where's the daily bias? Every single question I get is always daily bias, daily bias, daily bias. Well, I think daily bias is f***ing stupid for scalp traders, okay? And just to really illustrate this point, I go on my community, I search for bias. I could scroll here for 8 hours, dude. All the questions that I get is, make a video on daily bias. Where's daily bias? What's daily bias? So today, I'm going to be offering you my perspective on daily bias and why I believe that there's potentially a better alternative to daily bias that I've implemented. And I'm also going to give you my story with daily bias because I have a little bit of a relationship with it, where in the past I believed one thing, and now as I've gotten to become a better, more mature trader, I believe a different thing. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll gain insight to my perspective. And I'm not telling you that you need to have my perspective. I'm not telling you that you have to agree with me, but maybe you could take some of the things that I'm saying and implement it into your own trading. So back in the day, a couple years back, pretty much right around when I first started the live trading that I do on Discord. By the way, join the Discord down in the description. I used to be very, very hard set in this idea that daily bias was one of the most important things that you could have. Now you might be wondering, this video is, I'm literally talking about how I believe daily bias is stupid. And I'm also sitting here saying that way back in the day, I believe that it was one of the most important things. And I think that's an important part of this video. My perspective here was not formed by a ignorance to daily bias. I used to be a firm believer in it, in fact, and I used to actually be fairly good at it. I just think that overall, as I've gotten better, for a scalper who trades 1 to 3 hours of the 6.5 hour day on index futures, I believe that daily bias is potentially harming you more than it's hurting you. Now, to begin this video, who do I think daily bias is actually good for? I believe that you should have a very clear daily bias if you're trading for the entire session, or maybe you are a person who trades on an hourly chart, for example. So there's only 6.5 candles for your entire trading session. Or maybe you're somebody who swing trades. In that case, daily bias is also probably beneficial. If you trade on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute chart and you're trading for 1 to 3 hours at a time, I think daily bias is absolutely stupid, and here's why. So everywhere you go, if you ask traders for advice, one thing that they're going to tell you is be reactive, don't be predictive to the market, okay? And then they do things like have a daily bias. And yeah, that makes sense, right? You're biased somewhere. That makes sense. You believe that the market's going to go one way or the other. Of course, you need to believe that the market's going to go one way or the other in order to come to any conclusions about any tradable setups. So, of course, that makes sense. What are you even getting on about? Well, follow along with me. I'm also going to offer an alternative in this video that I think follows this core principle that I believe in. I really, really believe in this very core principle that shapes most of my trading decisions of being reactive rather than being predictive about the market. I don't want to have any predictions about the market. If I'm saying my bias is down, that means I'm predicting the market's going to go down. Okay, but I'm scalping. I'm trading for 2 hours a day. There's 6.5 hours in a session, right? And this is in Alaska time, by the way, because I live in Alaska. Stop telling me to use fucking New York time in the comments. I'm not switching to New York time. Ever. Done. Okay? I don't live in New York. I don't know why you're trying to force me to move to I don't live there. Okay? I don't live in New York. So there's the first 30 minutes, and then there's 5 additional hours before the market closes. And a lot of times, this is what a particular day in the market might look like. You might open up, and your daily bias might be down. Let's utilize a situation where your daily bias is correct, right? At the end of the day, this is what the daily candle looks like. You were right. The market went down. And at the start of the market, when it opens, you believe that it was going to go to this level. And it did. By the end of the day, it did go there. Amazing, right? This is the time of day that I trade, okay? And this is my real problem with daily bias and sticking to a daily bias like this and really even considering it much. If I'm trading the first 2.5 hours of the market, or let's say you're also a person trading here, or if you're a person trading here, and this is a very common looking day, by the way. This is not anything dramatic, right? Sometimes you'll open up, you'll go straight to that level. Great. This is probably more common. more often than not, intraday sessions are range bound, not trend days. So this is what a very common day on NASDAQ looks like, or the S&P 500, or US 30, Dow Jones, whatever you're trading stock index futures. This is what a very common day looks like. And me, as the trader who's trading these first 3 hours, I might have a daily bias of this level, but during the entire time I'm trading, price is moving up. So what good did my daily bias just do me? Nothing at all. In fact, if I was trying to stick to my daily bias, I would have missed out on all the opportunities to get long in here. Just because I'm saying by the end of the day, I wanted to go to that level. By the end of the day is only one moment. So you're going to miss out on all the other moments of the day just so that you could get the fucking adrenaline hit of predicting that one moment that happened? That makes no sense to me. And now what if I'm a trader that is trading during these 2 hours of the market? What is my daily bias doing for me here? And again, I understand that not all days are going to look like this, in the sense of sometimes it's going to go right to it, sometimes it's not. Sometimes price is going to go up for 5.5 hours, and then it's going to plummet to your level right at the end of the day. Imagine you're a trader that trades in here. Okay, so now you're just, what? You're just going to be trying to short this range over and over again, and you're going to get stopped out above this high, and stopped out above this high, and stopped out above this high because you're trying to trade a range-bound market, or you're not playing the range-bound market how the range-bound market should be played because you're focused on trying to get short? That doesn't make any sense. And again, if you are a swing trader, this is different. If you're taking very infrequent amount of trades per day, very well. Wait, you have your full setup up here. Maybe you're entering here, your stop loss is up here, and you're sitting on your hands until you hit your target. That's a system. But for somebody taking fairly high frequency of trades, a fairly large quantity of trades, but for somebody taking a fairly large quantity of trades, and for somebody who is scalping only a few hours, you're not looking to hold your position all session, what is daily bias even doing for you? It's literally doing nothing. If anything, it's just confusing you more, because most days, at least for me, like, dude, most days the market is going to not reach your daily bias objective until later in the day when I'm already logged off. I don't give a fuck what the market does when I log off. Do you understand me? Right? Like, I'll trade in the morning. I'll trade for my 2.5 hours. I'll do what I have to do. And I might think that it's going to go down to that red level. If I come back the next day and it doesn't go to that red level and it just skyrocketed, I don't care because I'm not trading it. Once I log off, I don't really care what happens to the market. I'm looking for good opportunities when I'm trading. But I need opportunities because I need to have exposure to the market while I'm trading. And if I'm so focused on going one direction that I'm being so predictive that I can't react when the market's not going in that direction, how am I going to get exposure to the market? So, this begs the question. If you don't use daily bias, how do you get a sense of direction for these swings in price action? Because even if you're not very convicted on daily bias, even if you don't want to use daily bias all that much, you still have to kind of be convicted in a direction, right? For you to take a position, you need to be at least somewhat convicted that there's going to be an expansion in the way that you want. Maybe you're going to trade to a particular level that you want to trade to. So the very basic way is just what I'm about to do here. So boom, all of a sudden we have a lot of levels on our screen. And this is how I trade, okay? Again, maybe this isn't how you trade. I'm making this video. This is how I trade. People ask me for daily bias advice. I'm telling you my advice. I trade with high time frame levels. I trade with many high time frame levels on my screen. I'm not really using anything low time frame at all. I execute on a 1 minute chart. You will almost never, in fact, I could almost say never see any level lower than a daily time frame on my screen. And a lot of times there's a lot of levels. And the way that I do technical analysis is 100% mechanical. That means a fucking robot could do it. All my levels are always going to be the same all the time. Every once in a while, there's the tiniest amount of discretion, but it's very, very mechanical. And I'm not going to go and sit here right now today and be like, this is how I mark all my levels. If you want to learn that, you're going to have to join my Patreon. I'm sorry. Hey, you don't want to join it? Okay, whatever. I have a free YouTube channel. I'm putting stuff out on this YouTube channel. I'm not going to put out my whole strategy on this YouTube channel. On this YouTube channel, I aim to make very helpful content for traders, but stuff that could be very applicable to a broader scope of traders. So anybody could utilize this advice. So I trade with levels like this, and I just trade level to level. So if I start trading here and the market's rejecting off of this level, where's my bias? It's going to be towards the next level. That's where my bias is going to be. And if this level holds, where's my bias? It's going to be towards the next level. That's where my bias is going to be. Oh, this level didn't hold and it pushed up to this one. Okay, where's my bias going to be towards? It's going to be towards the next level. So now I could participate in potentially opportunities to short, opportunities to long, opportunities to short. This level holds, opportunities to long, opportunities to long. This level holds, opportunities to short. This level holds, opportunities to long. This level holds, opportunities to short. This level holds, opportunities to short. This level holds, opportunities to long into the next one, etc. So I'm just playing high time frame level to high time frame level. And this is important because this also goes along with everything I do, right? I trail stops because I don't want to be predictive of where the market's going to go. I just go high time frame level to high time frame level because this is reactionary. This is what I want my trading to be. I want my trading to be reactionary because I can't predict the market. Nobody could fucking predict the market. I don't care what Mr. Michael J. Huddleston says. He created the algorithm. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who you are talking to. Nobody in the world could predict the market for sure. Nobody can. If you believe that, if somebody's telling you that, they're scamming you. And I don't need your opinions about this in the comments. Don't go into the comments and be like, I could predict the market. My daddy ICT told me that I could know exactly where it's going to go because it's an algorithm. Okay, well listen, brother. You or your daddy ICT hasn't withdrawn fucking $45 million from the market out of trading profits. I'm not going to listen to your fucking opinion. So boom, I trade level to level, level to level. The next thing I want to talk about is something a little bit interesting. If I'm coming down into a level like so, I believe it's important to just assume that the market's going to keep going in the direction that the market's going. So if the market is moving down, guess what the market's more likely to do? Move down, right? Reversals only happen one time, and they happen at the end of trends. So if you're trending in one direction, it's likely to keep trending in that direction. So this idea that levels below you can hold you down. And what that means is when I'm coming into a level below me, I'm not placing my limit order on that level and saying this is going to buy me up, I'm going to knife catch. No, I'm assuming you're just going to lose that level, back test it, and continue that trend down. And I would even be more interested in shorting that back test. Because again, the market's only going to reverse one time. And if you were right here, but wrong here, and 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 wrong here, then what the fuck are you even doing? That makes no sense to me. Okay, and the same thing on the other way, right? If the market's coming up to a level in a trending fashion, then I'm going to say I believe my first initial belief is that the market's going to go immediately over that level, retest, and then take off. I'm just going to assume it's going to keep going up. And I would rather be on this side of the market because the market's only going to reverse once. And I don't want to be wrong here, 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 fucking everywhere. Because I don't want to do that. I don't know. I don't know if this level is going to hold. I'm not a fucking magician, right? When you're coming up to this level, I couldn't tell you what's going to happen at this level. It's either not going to reach the level. That's one outcome. It's either going to go right through the level. It's either going to go through the level, retest, go up. It's either going to go through the level, come right back down through it. It's going to hold the level perfectly and slam down. There's so many different things that could happen, and I can't tell you what's going to happen, right? So I'd rather be reactive. If the market trades up into this level, like so, and then rejects, and then shows me that it's holding, gives me some form of internal confirmation, whatever that be, right? And then retests that level, maybe I could get a low time frame, high risk to reward opportunity here after the market's already showed me that the levels hold. And where do I think that expansion is going to go to? The next level, right? So if you like zoom into here from this, that's what this is, right? You see that whole thing. I'm not just buying the actual level with a limit order. I'm letting it go in. Does the market show me the willingness to hold? If it does, I will look for an entry to participate up into the next level. And you might be wondering, well, do you take profit on the next level? No, I don't. I use a trailed stop loss because I don't know if that next level is going to hold. We could just go up and keep going up, just like we did here, right? We pass through 1, 2, 3. We go through 4 levels, right? Okay, so I'm going to use a trailed stop loss and just let it rock. I'm just going to let it rock, right? And if it comes down and it holds a level, guess what? I'm going to be trailed out of the position. If it doesn't hold a level, I'm just going to be floating in profits. Let it run, baby. This is more money for me, right? So to restate, daily bias makes sense if you're trading the entire session, if you take a very low frequency of trades, if your primary time frame is a very high time frame, imagine your primary time frame is a 15-minute chart. Well, you only have 4, 8, 16, 20, 22. You only have about 22 15-minute bars in an entire day of price. Okay, yeah. Of course, like a daily bias makes sense then because you don't have a lot of data to look at. Like, there's probably only going to be 1 or 2 positions that you're going to take in that entire day. If you're using a 1-minute chart, if you're using a 15-second chart, imagine how crazy that even seems. Because you're so strong on this daily bias, you're willing to pass up on all the opportunity that exists here. You don't want to participate in this long. You don't want to trade the range bound market. You don't want to participate in the retracement or the FMM expansion or the 730 retracement or a range bound market or anything like that, or this like default 4 pillars liquidity sweep setup. You don't want to participate in anything like that because you're so convicted that the market will go to the low. Again, this is for scalp traders. I am a scalp trader when I trade NASDAQ. I take many trades a day. I take a lot of break evens. I take quite a few losses. I take a lot of wins, and my wins are huge in relation to my losses. And don't believe me, right? Like, don't even trust anything that I'm saying. Go into my Discord, ask any single person that's ever been a part of live trading, ever, and they'll tell you what I do is legit, right? And these opinions are my opinions of their own. And hopefully this perspective helps you a little bit, right? So when I'm scalping, I think daily bias is a little bit stupid because I think that you should be more reactive than predictive. My way of being more reactive than predictive is playing level to level. When you're coming down into a level, I expect that level to break. If that level holds and it holds you up, then I expect the range of price to the next level. I'll try to participate. I also have other things in my trading personally that really, really are powerful that we've talked about one time in the past on this YouTube channel that I'm not going to go in detail here with, but I'm going to give a very quick rundown because it's probably the most powerful intraday directional bias thing that I even have. So something that I have in my trading is called connected levels and PDRs, projected defined ranges. So if the market loses this level and tests into here, if we do not get back above this level, I know with a very high degree, not of certainty, but of probability, that you are very likely to trade down to the connected level that creates that PDR. And this creates a range that I like to describe this from A to B. I have a very, very in-depth, multiple videos on PDRs on my Patreon. If you want to join that, you can. So when the market does this, I know with a good degree of certainty that my intraday bias should be straight to B. Regardless of what the high timer frame is saying, regardless of what anything is saying, really, I believe that the market's probably going to go to B because that's where the probabilities lie. And then I know when you get to the halfway point and you get underneath this, there's 1 of 2 things that can happen. If you hold right here and this holds up and you don't get underneath that halfway point, that means A is holding and the directional bias is done. And that means you're going to go regain 138. This gives me a range of probabilities to play in that I can execute on. I can execute on that. I can take a trade. I can be biased in that regard. And I'm being reactive, right? I'm waiting for this to hold. That is reactionary trading, which is exactly what I want. I don't want to be predictive, right? Even though this is a bit of a prediction, it's also based on very high odds stuff, right? So if this falls under and we can't get above that halfway, then I know it's going to do the same thing. Halfway here, halfway again, and then you're going to get in. And each one of those times, it's like a staircase. Every single 2 levels, I might sound like a fucking mad scientist right now. I swear to God, ask anybody who's ever been in my Discord. PDRs are some of the most coolest shit that you've ever seen in your life. And if you want to know the video that I've talked about them briefly, it's on the order block video. Somewhere in there, I talked about projected defined ranges, and you saw some of the power of them. And I think some people, even outside of the Patreon, have started to use PDRs very, 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 very effectively. So yeah, this is one tool that I have for intraday bias as well. But generally, I'm trading level to level. Even this is trading level to level. It's just a little bit of steps in between. And I don't believe in daily bias because I'm only trading for an hour or 2. I believe in daily bias for swing traders and people who are using higher time frames. I believe in one of the core constructs of my trading is be more reactive, not predictive. And there you go. Hope that helped.